Day 7, reading The Power Broker. In Part 5, The Love of Power, Chapter 28, The Warp on the Loom. Again, slow reading this morning. Just got through 1, 2, 3, 4. Got through 4 pages. Pages 620 to 624. Had only about 30 minutes this morning, but really internalizing the significance of this device of the public authority. And these 4 pages really serve to outline the immense power inherent within them should Moses be able to leverage them to the full extent he seems confident he will be able to. Caro really outlining, again, as he did in the beginning of the book and throughout the book, the significance of money, the power of money, the control that comes with it. In these 4 pages, Caro makes sure to hearken back to the beginning of the book when Robert Moses learns that having the best ideas, having the best plan is not sufficient to obtain power. In his youth, he came forward with a plan for efficiency for ideas that were good ideas, but he was crushed up against the infrastructure that was already in place. A lot of the times, a corrupt infrastructure that was Tammany, was legislatures in power that were going to give jobs or fund projects not necessarily based on the merit of those people or projects, but because of internal personal motivations. They would pay people because they owed them favors or because they wanted something from them, not because of the strength of their expertise. Moses learned that ultimately it was the money that these people were in control of that enabled them to exercise their will. He learned that the hard way, and his ascent after that, decades later, baked in this knowledge to the point where he is now about to have access to a device that will give him the control over that quintessential element of power, money. And these 4 pages are really outlining the potential of the public authority to do that, showing just how potent of a weapon these public authorities are and could be if the laws defining the extent of their power are structured the right way. Caro starts to foreshadow how these public authorities and Robert Moses' ultimate control over them to come, which is what sounds like is on its way, put in a position where he could exercise what in a lot of ways were good plans, effective plans, beautiful dreams for parks and roads, but they also meant that it was only his vision and his vision alone that would come to pass. And with that, his vision for roads instead of public transit. And so we're beginning to see the origins of what is now baked into New York City itself, which is a public transit system that is not all it could be. And we're seeing the reason why explicitly here is because Moses is taking the next step to consolidate ultimate power over so much of the infrastructure of the city in the form of roads, parks, parkways, and what could have been public transit but wasn't, that because of his sole perspective being the only one that mattered, given that he was in control of so much power in the form of money and authority through the devices of these public authorities, that we see in New York City the vision of Robert Moses, not the vision of what could have been an amalgamation of the visions of the people or even a broader swath of leaders. So this feels like the crux of the power broker, the tipping point, his achievement of such a moniker as the power broker. This is his final broker to achieve ultimate power in a way, and the foundation for why New York City is a reflection of Robert Moses' vision for good and for bad, and as I'm sure we're going to come to see, more so for bad. Given the title of the book is The Power Broker, Robert Moses and the Fall of New York. This is a very exciting chapter. It feels as though momentum is building. I can see and feel the energy building and almost see through Robert Moses' eyes the excitement around the potentialities of this device of the public authority, and how now he is so close to seizing the means through which he can achieve his dreams, and almost the momentum, the inevitability of those dreams now coming to pass because of his mastery over the mechanics of government, of law, and of getting things done. his understanding of how you get things done within the framework that exists, and now him coming up to the precipice of being able to determine how the rules within which he has to abide in order to get things done are now going to be up to him. An interesting point even being the significance of things like marketing, essentially, with how to get things done. He had to be able to quickly and effectively induce people to agreeing with his conception of what things should be where, and a lot of what that meant was being able to show them, one, to coerce and convince them of his plan, so in the form of like brochures or even models, and before that, being able to have the plans ready to go so that when opportunities to build things did come up, he wasn't having to compete with as many people to prove the merit of his idea, because he had already had budget to create a plan for it before anyone else. He then had the money to be able to market and promote it, whether to individuals on one-on-one basis, to groups of people, and he would with this newfound source of income have the capacity to be able to leverage his natural charm to its fullest potential, because he could wine and dine whoever he needed to, he could intimidate whoever he needed to, he could pay to have his bloodhounds dig up dirt on whoever he needed to. So this money allowed him to exercise his will. This money would allow him to exercise his will to its fullest extent. In the same way that Caro says power doesn't corrupt, power reveals, money is power, and so the same principle applies. Money does not corrupt, money reveals who you are. And we're on the precipice of getting a heavy dose of Robert Moses' character, true character, in all of its magnificence. It's terrible magnificence. It's terrible magnificence in some ways, because he is going to be at the helm of an enormous amount of money on top of it, a foundation of an enormous amount of power. So yeah, this is an exciting chapter. I feel like I'm very much starting to deeply appreciate and understand the mechanics through which Robert Moses' ascent and ultimate domination came to pass. And it feels like now we're about to witness the takeoff, and yeah, the momentum and excitement of what's to come, even though we kind of already know what's to come, is palpable. So excited for tomorrow, and I will catch you on the next page.